What if Apple's next big surprise is not the iPhone? What if it's Apple TV? Because the latest leaks are not talking about one model. They're talking about three: a cheap one, a powerful one, and one premium model that sounds too crazy for a normal TV box. But here's the part most people are missing. Not all three may launch together. One model could come first. Another could follow with Apple's AI push. And the biggest one may be saved for later. So in this video, I'll break down all three, and at the end, I'll reveal the release window from the sources. Apple TV 2026 is coming. And this time, the story is not boring, because the leaks are not talking about just one Apple TV. They are talking about three models: Apple TV Mini, Apple TV Ultra, and Apple TV Vision Pro. Now listen carefully. Apple has not shown these three models on stage yet, but the reason people are taking this seriously is because two big Apple sources connect to the story: Mark Gurman and Ming Kuo. Gurman's side is about the hardware. Kuo's side is about the price. And when you put both together, the story starts to make sense. Gurman says new Apple TV hardware is ready, or almost ready. That means Apple is not just thinking about it. The hardware side is already far ahead, but Apple still has not launched it. And that is the weird part. If the box is ready, why are we still waiting? The answer looks like Siri. Apple wants the next Apple TV to come with the new AI Siri experience. So this is not just about a faster streaming box. This is about Apple trying to make Apple TV smarter. And that is why this video matters. Because if the leaks are right, Apple is not making one Apple TV. Apple is building a full lineup: a cheap model, a powerful model, and a premium model. Let's start with the smallest one, Apple TV Mini. This is the model that makes the most sense for normal people. The leaked price is $39. And if Apple really gets close to that price, this could be a huge move. Because right now, Apple TV is too expensive for many users. Most people do not care about chips. They do not care about RAM. They do not care about gaming power. They just want a box that works. They want YouTube, Netflix, Disney+, Apple TV+, maybe AirPlay from iPhone. That's it. No drama, no setup headache, just plug it in and watch. That is exactly why Apple TV Mini makes sense. And this is where Ming Kuo's point becomes important. Kuo already said Apple TV needs a cheaper price. He said under $100 is the sweet spot. Now he did not say $39. He did not say Apple TV Mini, but his message was clear. Apple TV needs to become cheaper if Apple wants more people to buy it. And that is why a mini model fits the story. A $39 Apple TV Mini would compete with Fire TV Stick, Roku, and Chromecast. That is the market Apple has been missing. Cheap streaming, simple setup, easy Apple access. And Apple does not need to make all the money from the box. Apple makes money after you enter the ecosystem. Apple TV+, Apple Music iCloud, Apple Arcade, HomeKit, AirPlay, services. That is the real business. So the Mini does not need to be powerful. It needs to be cheap, it needs to be fast enough, and it needs to bring more people into Apple's world. Now let's talk about what Apple TV Mini could have. Simple chip, small store, maybe 32 GB, Wi-Fi, AirPlay, Siri remote support, Apple TV App Store, basic 4K streaming if Apple wants to make it strong, no advanced gaming, no heavy AI, no crazy camera, no premium features, just clean Apple streaming. And honestly, that would be enough for most people. Now before we go to the next model, comment right now. Would you buy a $39 Apple TV Mini? Yes or no? Because I think this could be the model that sells the most. Not because it is the strongest, because it is the easiest to buy. Now the second model is where things get serious. Apple TV Ultra. This is the powerful one. The leaked price is $499. And yes, I know, that sounds crazy. $500 for an Apple TV. At first, that makes no sense. Nobody is paying $499 just to watch YouTube. Nobody is paying $499 for Netflix. So if this model is real, it cannot be just a streaming box. It has to be something much bigger. And this is where Gurman's report matters. Because Gurman has connected the next Apple TV with Apple's new AI Siri features. That means Apple TV Ultra could be built around Apple Intelligence. Not just apps, not just streaming, AI gaming, smart home, FaceTime, better Siri. That is the Ultra story. Now let's talk specs. Apple TV Ultra would need serious hardware, a 17 Pro or an 18 class chip, at least 8 GB RAM, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, Thread support, Apple's new wireless chip, more storage, maybe 128 GB or 256 GB, better cooling, better gaming, and maybe even a built-in camera. Now think about that. Why would Apple put this much power inside a TV box? Netflix does not need a 17 Pro. YouTube does not need a 17 Pro. Disney Plus does not need a 17 Pro. So what is all that power for? AI, gaming, smart home. That is the answer. Imagine sitting on your couch and saying, find me a good action movie under 2 hours. Or show me a family movie for tonight. Or find that movie where the guy is stuck on Mars. And Siri actually understands you. No typing, No scrolling. No jumping between apps. Just ask. That is the kind of feature normal people will actually use. Because right now, finding something to watch is annoying. You open Netflix, nothing. You open Prime Video, nothing. You open Disney Plus, still nothing. Then YouTube, then Apple TV Plus. And after 15 minutes, you are still scrolling. Apple can fix that with a smarter Siri. That is why AI on Apple TV actually makes sense. Not because AI is a cool word, but because it solves a real problem. Now gaming. This is another reason Ultra could exist. Apple has been slowly pushing gaming. Apple Arcade, controller support, bigger games on iPhone, iPad, and Mac, better graphics chips. Ray tracing support on newer Apple chips. So if Apple TV Ultra gets a strong chip, it could become a real living room gaming device. I am not saying it will replace PlayStation, relax. That is not the point. But casual gaming, family gaming, Apple Arcade, controller games, that could work. Especially if Apple makes the experience smooth. You pick up a controller, open the game, continue where you left off. That is what Apple is good at, simple experience. Now smart home. This might be the biggest part, because Apple TV is already a good place for a home hub. It is always plugged in. It stays in your house. It connects to your biggest screen. It works with your Apple ID. And it can talk to your iPhone, AirPods, HomePod, and Home app. Now add Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6 Thread, better Siri, Apple Intelligence. And suddenly Apple TV Ultra becomes the brain of your house. Lights,
Locks, cameras, sensor, speakers.
everything can connect through one main device. That is not a normal streaming box anymore. That is a living room hub. And if Apple can make it easy, people will use it. Now let's talk about the camera. This part is not locked, so don't treat it like confirmed. But Gurman has reported before that Apple has discussed an Apple TV with a built-in camera, and honestly, that makes sense. Because FaceTime on Apple TV already exists, but right now it needs your iPhone or iPad as the camera. It works. But it feels like a workaround. You need to place your phone somewhere. You need the angle right. You need the setup right. A built-in camera would fix that. You sit down, you call your family, the TV handles it. No phone stand, no setup, no weird angle. And maybe later, the camera could support hand gestures. Pause with your hand, swipe through menus, accept a call, control the TV without touching the remote. That sounds like something Apple would test. Now let's move to the top model, Apple TV Vision Pro. This is the most advanced one. The leaked price is $12.99, and this model is not for everyone. Mini is for normal users. Ultra is for power users. Vision Pro is for people who want the best Apple entertainment setup. If this model is real, it cannot be a normal TV box. It has to feel premium. It has to feel different. It has to justify that price. So what could Apple give it? 8K support 3D movies, spatial video, premium audio, better Apple Intelligence, more RAM, maybe 12 GB or more, a stronger chip, maybe a 18 Max or even M series level power, more storage, maybe 512 GB or 1 TB Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, Thread built-in camera, FaceTime, gesture controls, better Vision Pro pairing, and deeper Apple ecosystem features. That is the only way a $12.99 Apple TV Vision Pro makes sense. Because again, nobody pays $12.99 just to stream Netflix. This would be for the premium experience. Think about Apple Vision Pro. It is about spatial content, big screens, immersive video, 3D movies. That same idea could move into Apple TV Vision Pro, not as a headset, but as Apple's most advanced entertainment box. A device made for people who want the best screen, best sound, best AI, best home setup, and best connection with Apple's future products. That is why the Vision Pro model sounds interesting. It is not just better Apple TV. It is Apple showing where home entertainment could go next. Now here is why the 3 model lineup makes sense. Apple does this everywhere: iPhone, iPhone Pro Max, iPad, iPad Air, iPad Pro, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro. Different users, different prices, same ecosystem. So why not Apple TV? Apple TV Mini, cheap and simple. Apple TV Ultra, powerful and smart. Apple TV Vision Pro, premium and future-focused. That is a very Apple strategy. Now let's come to the part you have been waiting for. Release date. Which one comes first, and when? Here is the source back part. Gurman says the next Apple TV hardware is ready, or nearly ready, but Apple is holding it because the smarter Siri experience is not ready yet. So the Apple TV release is connected to Siri AI. That means Apple is not waiting for the box. Apple is waiting for the software. And that is why the release window everyone is watching is later in 2026. Most likely around Apple's big fall window, September or October. That is when Apple usually makes major product moves. New iPhones, new Apple Watch, new software, new ecosystem story. So out of these 3 models, the one most likely to come first is the source-backed Apple TV refresh. That could be the cheaper mini idea. Or it could be the Ultra-style model with AI features. The exact name is not confirmed yet, but the timing points to the first Apple TV 2026 hardware around the fall window. That is the key point. Now what about Apple TV Vision Pro? That one is different. there is no strong source saying this model is ready for the same launch. And because it sounds much bigger, more expensive, and more connected to Apple's future vision products, it may come later, possibly next year. That means the safest timeline is this one Apple TV 2026 model first, most likely around September or October. The premium Vision Pro style model later, maybe next year if Apple really goes that route. And that is why Apple may be staying quiet, because if it has more than one Apple TV plan, it does not need to show everything at once. It can launch the main model first, then build the story later. Mini brings people in. Ultra makes the living room smart. Vision Pro shows the future. Now let me make this very clear. Apple has not officially confirmed Apple TV Mini. Apple has not officially confirmed Apple TV Ultra. Apple has not officially confirmed Apple TV Vision Pro. And Apple has not officially confirmed the $39, $499, or $1299 prices. Those are leak-based numbers. But the source backstory is strong. Ming said Apple TV needs a cheaper price. He said under $100 is the sweet spot. That supports the cheap Apple TV idea. Mark Gurman says new Apple TV hardware is ready or nearly ready. That supports the Apple TV 2026 is coming part. Reports also point to Apple Intelligence, a 17 Pro or newer chip, more RAM, Wi-Fi 7, Thread, and smart home features. That supports the Ultra-style upgrade. And Gurman has also reported that Apple has discussed a future Apple TV with a built-in camera for FaceTime and gestures. That supports the idea that Apple wants Apple TV to do more than streaming. So here's the final answer. Apple TV 2026 is coming. The three-model lineup is still leak-based, but the direction makes sense. Mini for cheap streaming, Ultra for AI, gaming, and smart home, Vision Pro for the premium future. The first Apple TV 2026 model is expected around the fall window, most likely September or October if Apple's Siri AI is ready. The Vision Pro style model is the one that could come later, maybe next year. And if Apple really follows this plan, Apple TV may finally become exciting again. Not because it plays Netflix, everything plays Netflix, but because Apple TV could become the smartest device in your living room. And that is the real story.